Welcome to Silver Narratives, the place where you do not just learn English, you learn how to reshape your mind, elevate your habits, and transform your entire life from the inside out. Today, I want to talk to you about something that has the power to unlock your future in ways most people never experience. Something that helps you learn faster, think clearer, speak more confidently, and live with purpose. Most people never develop it, and because of that, they stay stuck in the same routines, the same thoughts, and the same frustrations for years. That something is the power of a focused mind. A focused mind isn't just a tool, it's a life-changing force. Focus means you are fully present in the moment. Not half present, not distracted, not jumping from thought to thought like a restless bird. It means you are not reacting to every notification, every sound, every worry, or every meaningless distraction that tries to steal your attention. Focus means you know what matters, and you give it your complete energy. And when your mind becomes focused, your life begins to move in a straight, powerful direction instead of scattering in 1,000 different ways. Most people live scattered. They scroll, they rush, they multitask, they jump from idea to idea, and at the end of the day they feel exhausted without achieving anything meaningful. That's not because they lack intelligence, it's because they lack focus. Before I give you powerful tips to build a focused mind, I want you to understand one truth deeply: focus equals freedom. You may look free on the outside, walking, scrolling, going to school, going to work, but inside, you may not feel free at all. Inside, you might feel tired, confused, overwhelmed, or mentally stuck. That's not real freedom. That is noise. Real freedom is when your mind listens to you. Real freedom is when you choose your thoughts instead of your thoughts choosing you. Real freedom is when you can direct your attention like a laser. A focused mind gives you clarity, peace, direction, and strength. You know exactly what you need to do. You do not feel confused. You do not feel lost. You feel in control of yourself and your future. Focus is not a rule, it's not discipline, it's not a restriction. Focus is a form of freedom, and once you experience that freedom, even for a few minutes, you never want to go back to a scattered mind. This is what separates successful people from everyone else, because the difference is not talent, not money, not luck, it's focus. Focused people finish what they start. They protect their attention. They say no to distractions. They respect their time and their mind. Unfocused people start many things, finish none, get lost in their phones, feel tired all day, and forget why they started in the first place. If you do not train your focus, you slowly forget who you are. And focus is not a gift, it's a muscle. You can train it. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. The more you ignore it, the weaker it gets. And the key to building this muscle is simple: small daily habits. Not once a week, not when motivation appears, but daily. When focus becomes a daily habit, success becomes automatic. Now let's go deeper. The first and most important step to building a focused mind is calming your mind before you begin. You cannot focus if your mind is full of noise. You cannot grow if your thoughts are jumping everywhere. You cannot improve anything if your mind is scattered like dust in the wind. Most people think they need more motivation, more information, more videos, more lectures, but what they truly need is calmness. A calm mind can think clearly, see clearly, learn deeply, and act wisely. Imagine your mind as a big whiteboard. If the whiteboard is clean, you can write anything you want. But if the whiteboard is full of old ideas, random thoughts, past regrets, future worries, messy lines, how can you write something new? You can't. And that's exactly what happens inside your mind. It becomes full of fear, comparison, pressure, regret, doubt, and stress. So when you try to learn something or focus on something important, there is no space left. You feel tired, overwhelmed, and stuck, even though you are trying your best. It's not your fault, it's your mental state. And here is a powerful truth: focus does not begin with effort. Focus begins with stillness. Let me share a story with you. There was a man named Raymond. He had a great business idea. He had passion, he had talent, and he had vision. But every time he sat down to work, his mind wandered everywhere. He thought about bills, mistakes, the future, what people were doing better than him, and everything that didn't matter in that moment. Even when he was physically sitting at his desk, his mind was running in 10 different directions. Days passed, weeks passed, and he still had nothing to show for it. He felt stuck, angry, hopeless, and lost. One day, his mentor told him something powerful: your brain is like a phone. You keep opening apps, but you never close them. That's why your battery is always low. And that was exactly the problem. His mind had too many tabs open, too many thoughts, too many fears, too many distractions. His problem wasn't time. His problem wasn't ability. His problem was noise. So he did something simple. Every morning, he sat still for 10 minutes. He closed his eyes, took 5 deep breaths, and focused on one question: what is the one thing that matters right now? No phone. No plans. No rushing. Just stillness. Just breathing. Just clarity. In a few days, his mind began to change. In a few weeks, his focus became sharper. In a few months, his business finally took off. Not because he became smarter, but because he became still. Your brain is always listening to you. If you wake up and feed it chaos, it will stay chaotic all day. But if you teach your brain to slow down, breathe, and calm itself before you begin anything important, your brain will work with you, not against you. A calm mind is like clear water: you can see through it, move through it, and drink from it. A noisy mind is like a storm: you can't see, you can't think, and you feel lost. So before you start any important task, sit in silence for 1 minute. Close your eyes. Breathe. Clear the whiteboard. Prepare your mind for greatness. Breathe in slowly through your nose and breathe out gently through your mouth. Let your shoulders relax. Let your body soften. Let the noise inside your head slowly fade. Say to yourself quietly, this moment matters. I am calm. I am here. That's it. This simple pause, just a breath, just a moment of presence, signals to your brain that something important is happening. It tells your mind, now we begin. Now we give our full attention. It's like turning off all background music before watching a powerful film. The silence doesn't weaken the experience, it intensifies it. In the same way, when your mind quiets down for even a few seconds, your whole system prepares itself for clarity, for focus, for real progress. And the moment you choose calmness, you give your brain the space it needs to support you instead of fight you. Now your mind is ready. Now focus is possible. But most people do not live like this. You try to focus, but your thoughts pull you in 5 different directions. You try to improve your life, but your emotions interrupt you at the worst moments. You sit down to work hard, but something inside you feels blocked, frozen, unable to move forward. It feels like an invisible force is working against you. But the truth is, you're not fighting the world, you're fighting your own thoughts. And that inner battle drains your energy faster than anything else. That's why you burn out so quickly. That's why you give up even when you're trying hard. That's why you ask yourself, why can't I stay focused? Why can't I stay consistent? What's wrong with me? But nothing is wrong with you. Your mind is simply not calm. And when your mind is loud, your life feels loud. Even simple tasks feel heavy. You do not enjoy your progress. You do not feel proud of your work. You do not grow, not because you're weak, not because you're incapable, but because your mind won't let you move freely. Yet the moment you choose calmness, just one moment, everything changes. You feel like you've returned to yourself. You feel your inner strength again. Your energy comes back. Your clarity comes back. You begin to enjoy the present instead of rushing through it. And the beautiful truth is, a calm mind is a focused mind, and a focused mind can build anything: skills, habits, careers, relationships, dreams. Focus is the doorway through which transformation enters your life. Tip 2 is this: focus on the present moment. Most people think they are living in the present, but they're not. Their bodies may be here, but their minds are somewhere else entirely. They are living in the past, replaying old mistakes, regrets, and painful memories like a movie they didn't even enjoy the first time. Or they are living in the future, worrying about what might go wrong, imagining problems that do not exist, stressing about events that haven't even happened. But here is the truth most people forget: you can't change your life in the past. You can't change it in the future. You can only change it in one place, the present moment. That is why the ability to stay present is not a soft skill, it is a superpower. Because if your mind is not in the moment you're living, then you're not really living, you're only thinking about life instead of experiencing it. You try to work, but your mind interrupts you: what if I fail? What will people think? Why did that happen? Why did they say that? What if this doesn't work? So your body is sitting at your desk, but your brain is running marathons through past events and future fears. That's why you feel mentally exhausted after doing almost nothing. It's not the work that's tiring you, it's the constant mental travel. Your attention is running around like a child with no direction. But when you are truly in the present moment, everything changes. You feel calm. You feel grounded. You feel powerful. You feel awake in a way you haven't felt in a long time. You hear every sound more clearly. You feel every movement more deeply. You stop living on autopilot. You begin to see your life instead of just thinking about it. And that is when real focus happens. That is when real learning begins. That is when you start creating your future instead of being controlled by your past or your fears. Let me give you an example. Imagine a race car driver moving at 300 kilometers per hour on a track. Now imagine if, in the middle of the race, he starts thinking about his last race, or the mistakes he made last week, or what the audience is thinking about him. He would crash instantly. At that speed, 1 second of distraction equals destruction. The only way to survive, let alone win, is to be 100% present. Now listen closely: you may not be driving a race car, but your life is moving fast. Your days are moving fast. Your opportunities are racing past you. And if your mind drifts away from the present moment, you may not crash physically, but you will crash emotionally, mentally, spiritually. You will experience breakdowns instead of breakthroughs. That's why the ability to return to the present moment is not optional. It's urgent. Being present does not mean forgetting the past or ignoring the future. It simply means giving your full attention to the moment you are in right now. It means when you're eating, you're tasting your food instead of scrolling your phone. When you're talking to someone, you're listening instead of rehearsing your reply in your head. When you're working, not multitasking with 15 distractions. When you're resting, not drowning in notifications. You are not half here and half somewhere else. You are whole. And in that state of wholeness, you experience peace, not the temporary peace that disappears when something goes wrong, but the deep peace that stays with you because you are fully alive and aware. When your mind stays in the past, it feels regret. When it jumps into the future, it feels fear. But when it stays in the present, it feels clarity. Science confirms this: being present reduces stress, improves focus, boosts creativity, increases happiness, and helps you make better decisions. But even beyond science, presence gives you something far more valuable, the power to actually experience your own life. Here's a simple daily practice to bring your mind back. When you notice your thoughts drifting away, pause. Take a deep breath. Feel the air enter and leave your body. Look at your surroundings. Touch something near you. Gently ask yourself, what am I doing right now? Can I give this moment my full attention? Even doing this for 10 seconds trains your brain to come back home, to the moment where your power truly exists. When you ignore the present moment, you miss your growth. You miss your clarity. You miss your power. You live inside guilt or anxiety, never inside truth. And the saddest part is, you waste the only thing you actually own, this moment, this second, this breath. You tell yourself, someday I'll be ready. One day I'll focus. Tomorrow I'll start. But tomorrow never comes. Only now is real. If you do not train your brain to live in now, you will spend your entire life almost living, but never fully awake. But when you become fully present, something remarkable happens. You stop overthinking. You stop comparing yourself to others. You stop rushing. You stop regretting. And in that quiet space, your confidence grows. Your focus sharpens. Your energy strengthens. You begin to feel lighter yet more powerful. You start doing less but achieving more. You think fewer thoughts but understand more deeply. Because now, for the first time, you are in control of the one thing that controls everything, your attention. You do not need more hours in the day. You need to be more inside the hour you already have. Tip 3, remove distractions before you begin. Because you cannot win any game if you are constantly being dragged away from the field. You sit down with the best intentions. You tell yourself, today I'll focus. Today I'll work hard. Today I'll do it right. But 5 minutes later, a sound pulls your eyes away. Your phone lights up, you get a message, and you check it for just a second, then another message comes, and another notification, and another tiny distraction, each one pulling your attention in a new direction until suddenly 40 minutes disappear like they were never there. You feel tired, unfocused, mentally scattered, and you can't even remember what you were supposed to be doing in the first place. But what happened wasn't laziness, wasn't a lack of motivation, and certainly wasn't personal failure. It was something far simpler but far more dangerous, distraction. People think they need more focus, but what they truly need is fewer interruptions, because the real secret is not increasing discipline, it's designing a life where focus is actually possible. Most people are not failing because their willpower is weak, they are failing because their environment is loud, their phone never stops buzzing, their notifications constantly demand attention, and their brain is overloaded with more information than it can process. They're trying to sprint forward while holding 1,000 ropes pulling them backward. If you want deep concentration, meaningful progress, and clarity of mind, you must first cut those ropes, you must remove distractions before you even attempt to begin. Imagine a chef in a 5-star kitchen preparing a delicate dish that requires timing, precision, and full attention. Now imagine that every 2 minutes someone barges in with a question, his phone rings, loud music starts playing, a delivery person interrupts him, someone switches off the lights, and in between all this chaos he keeps checking Instagram. What happens to the dish? It gets ruined, not because the chef lacks skill, but because the environment is destroying his focus. You are that chef, and the dish you're trying to create is your dream, your goal, your purpose. If you do not protect your environment, even the most brilliant plan will collapse under the weight of interruptions. You may think it's just a quick message, but science shows that after every distraction, the brain takes 20 to 25 minutes to return to deep focus, meaning a tiny interruption can steal half an hour of your best thinking. Now imagine how much mental power you lose every day from random scrolling, app switching, noisy surroundings, background conversations, and non-stop notifications. Your brain isn't tired because you worked hard, it's tired because it never had silence. People who achieve exceptional results understand this. They do not rely on motivation or wait for the perfect mood, they engineer their environment for focus. They turn off notifications, put their phone out of reach, close unnecessary tabs, inform others not to disturb them, work in quiet, clean spaces, and guard their attention like it's treasure. That is why they get better results with less stress. They are not multitasking, they are deep working. Before you begin anything important, ask yourself what will distract you in the next 30 minutes and whether you can eliminate it before it appears. Silence your phone, use a notebook to trap intrusive thoughts, wear noise-canceling headphones or work in quiet, let the people around you know you're unavailable for an hour, and build a small focus zone even if it's just a simple corner without screens. This is how you prepare your mind for depth, how you build long-lasting concentration, and how you enter the mental space where clarity and creativity come naturally. If you skip this preparation, you'll feel like you're trying hard but achieving nothing, working for hours but producing little, switching tasks constantly but finishing none, becoming anxious, irritated, and exhausted without understanding why. Then you'll blame yourself, thinking, why can't I focus like others, when in reality, the only mistake was leaving the door open for distractions to walk in. Because the moment you work in silence, with your phone out of reach, giving your brain a single job and nothing else, something extraordinary happens, your thoughts sharpen, your energy lasts longer, your mind becomes steady, and you slip into flow, that magical state where time fades and you become fully immersed in what you're doing. That is where real growth happens, where your potential wakes up, where your mind becomes a weapon. But to reach that state, you must remove the enemy first, and that enemy is distraction. So do not sit down hoping to focus, sit down prepared to focus by protecting your attention. And remember this truth, most people fail not because they lack intelligence or effort, but because they try to do too much too quickly. They want instant results, shortcuts, and success without the slow climb. It's like someone walking into a gym for the first time and trying to lift 100 kilograms instead of starting with 2, they fail, get hurt, feel ashamed, and never return. Not because they were weak, but because they wanted the victory before building the strength. Growth is never about lifting the heaviest weight, it's about lifting small weights consistently until the heavy ones become natural. Every strong person, every achiever, every master has followed the same path, one step, one lesson, one challenge, one small improvement at a time until one day they look back and realize they have become what they once thought was impossible. Not because of luck, but because they respected the process, because they understood that real progress demands patience and consistency, not rush and chaos. When you try to learn everything at once, your mind burns out. When you try to do everything at the same time, your thoughts get tangled. When you try to climb an entire mountain in one day, exhaustion drags you down and you fall. But when you break things down, when you take your goal and divide it into small, manageable, doable parts, suddenly everything becomes possible. Imagine standing in front of a giant wall and being told you have to build it. Your first reaction is panic. I can't build a wall, it's too big, it's too complicated, I don't even know where to begin. But then someone gently tells you, forget the wall. Just lay one brick today. One perfect brick. That's all. And you lay it. The next day, you lay one more. Then another. And another. Day after day, one brick at a time, until one day you step back and realize the wall is standing, strong and complete, and you built it with your own hands. That is how success is built, not through sudden miracles or giant leaps, but through steady, daily layers that compound over time. Your brain loves small tasks, your body responds to small routines, and your mind grows fastest when it is not drowning under pressure. That's why this method works. When you break your learning, your goals, your personal growth into small pieces you can repeat consistently, you become unstoppable. Your brain operates best when it focuses on one thing at a time. It needs clarity, structure, and the simple satisfaction of completion. Every time you finish a small task, your brain gives you a burst of dopamine, a natural reward signal that says, "Good job, keep going." That tiny win creates momentum, builds self-respect, strengthens belief, and slowly raises your internal standards. When your goals feel small, you begin to feel powerful. When things feel manageable, you naturally become consistent, and when consistency becomes your identity, nothing can stop you. So when you feel overwhelmed, lost, or stuck, do not ask, "How do I finish everything?" Instead ask, "What small piece can I complete today?" Forget the mountain and look at the next step. Forget the masterpiece and begin with one simple line. Forget the 100 miles and focus on one strong step, then one more. This principle is not just about learning, it is the blueprint of life. Want to transform your body? Start with one healthy meal. Want to repair a relationship? Start with one honest conversation. Want to change a habit? Start with one tiny shift in your morning routine. Want to grow confidence? Do one thing that scares you, not everything, just one. And then comes the next powerful truth: focus on one goal until you finish it. Because the truth is, we all start things with excitement, energy, and big dreams, but finishing is where most people fail. We jump from idea to idea, from plan to plan, from motivation to motivation, starting 5 projects and completing none. This is the silent trap of modern life. We begin everything but finish nothing because our attention is scattered like light stretched too thin. Your mind is like a spotlight. If you shine it on one target, it becomes sharp and powerful. Shine it on 10, and it becomes weak and blurry. Chasing too many goals at once leads to half-finished tasks, scattered energy, empty results, and constant exhaustion. Think of a man digging for water. He starts digging in one spot, reaches 5 feet, finds nothing, and moves. Digs another 5 feet somewhere else, still nothing. After digging 10 shallow holes, he gives up, thirsty and frustrated, never realizing that water was waiting at 30 feet, but he never stayed long enough to reach it. Now picture someone else digging just one hole, going 3 feet deeper every single day in the same spot. On day 10, he reaches water, not because he worked harder, but because he worked smarter, because he stayed in one place until the job was done. Your brain craves closure, and every time you finish something, it rewards you with energy, confidence, and mental clarity. But when tasks remain half done, your mind stays open like a computer with 50 tabs running in the background, draining your energy even when you're not thinking about them directly. That's why unfinished work creates stress and mental fog. So if you want clarity, peace, and real growth, you must become someone who finishes what they begin. Before starting something new, ask yourself, have I completed what I started yesterday? Is my energy focused on one direction or scattered across many? Will this new idea distract me from my true goal? Then set a simple, life-changing rule for yourself: one goal at a time, no moving forward until this one is done. Stick to this rule even when it feels slow, even when it feels boring, even when new ideas look shiny and exciting. Because finishing one thing is 10 times more powerful than starting 10 things. When you complete what you begin, you earn respect, you build confidence, you stop doubting yourself, and you experience real results. Your progress becomes visible, your stress fades, and most importantly, you begin to trust yourself again. When you say, "I will do this," it stops being a hope, it becomes a mission. The world is full of people who start, but the winners, the leaders, the builders, the strong ones, are the ones who finish. Be the finisher. Be the one who stays. Be the one who follows through. Be the one who says, "I promised myself I'd do it, and I did." Your focus is your superpower. Do not waste it by scattering it everywhere. Choose your goal, commit with full energy, and stay there until the job is done. Tip 6 is simple but life-changing: try to understand, not just memorize. Memorizing is something you remember for a day, understanding is something you remember for a lifetime. Most people were trained from childhood to memorize, to repeat facts, words, formulas, and lines again and again like a machine, hoping the information will stay. It does stay, but only for a few hours or maybe a few days, and when it disappears, they become frustrated, confused, and convinced that something is wrong with their brain. But the truth is nothing is wrong with them. The real problem is that memorizing without understanding is like writing words on water, they disappear the moment you stop repeating them. That's why this tip is bigger than focus. It's about building a stronger mind, a smarter life, and a deeper capacity for long-term growth. Do not just memorize what something is, understand why it matters. People memorize because it's faster, because it's easier, because school rewards it, but in the real world nobody wins by repeating information. The winners are the ones who grasp meaning behind information. Memorizing is like building a house with paper, looks fine until pressure comes. Understanding is like building with bricks, strong, stable, permanent. Imagine learning to cook from a recipe and blindly following each step without asking why ingredients are added, how flavors change with heat, or what each action does. The moment something goes wrong, you panic because you do not understand the logic behind the dish, but someone who understands cooking, heat, flavor, balance, can adjust, fix, and create. The difference is simple: one person memorized steps, the other understood the process. When you memorize, your brain stores fragile information in short-term memory, like chalk on the sidewalk that disappears with the first rain. But when you understand, your brain forms connections, linking new information with old knowledge, and this moves it into deep, long-term memory, where you can recall it effortlessly, even years later. So test yourself: can you explain this in your own words? Could you teach it to someone else? Do you understand why it matters? If yes, you truly understand. If not, you're just echoing someone else's words. Understanding gives you power, memorizing gives you pressure. So as you learn, slow down, ask questions, connect ideas to what you already know, use examples, stories, visuals, and practice explaining aloud. This turns dead information into living knowledge. If you rely only on memorizing, you will keep forgetting, feeling stuck, losing confidence, and blaming yourself with lines like "I studied so much but I still don't get it," when the truth is you're not failing, you're just copying instead of connecting. When you understand, you own the knowledge. When you memorize, you borrow it, and borrowed knowledge disappears fast. If you truly want growth, deeper focus, longer memory, and real intelligence, do not rush. Think. Explore. Question. Understand. Do not be the person who only passes exams, be the person who understands life. And this leads to tip 7, practice regularly. You've learned how to calm your mind, stay present, eliminate distractions, finish what you start, break tasks into small parts, and understand deeply. But now comes the ultimate truth, the truth that separates dreamers from doers. If you want real focus, real growth, and real success, you must practice every day. Not sometimes. Not only when motivated. Not only when life feels easy. Every single day. Your mind is not a machine, it's a muscle, and muscles grow only through repetition. You cannot expect deep focus if you only practice occasionally. Random effort creates random results. Consistency creates transformation. A musician doesn't become great by playing 10 hours in one day, he becomes great by playing 30 minutes every day, allowing his fingers to learn, his brain to connect, and his mind and body to move together. Every day of practice sends a message to your brain: this is important, keep improving, and your brain listens, even if it's only 15 minutes. Your focus becomes stronger, distractions weaker, thinking faster, and habits sharper. This is the magic of regular repetition. Small daily actions create long-term mastery. Without practice, you forget what you learned, lose momentum, get lazy, blame yourself, and feel stuck, not because you're weak, but because you weren't consistent. Motivation can start your journey, but only daily practice can finish it. So do not wait for the perfect moment, it doesn't exist. Do not wait for motivation, it comes and goes. Start now, even with 10 minutes, if those 10 minutes are focused. Make a tiny commitment, same time each day, same space, one task, one goal, 0 distractions. Make it so small you can't avoid it. Small wins, repeated daily, become unstoppable power. Your focus lasts longer, flow becomes easier, your confidence grows, and you feel in control of your mind and your life. In the end, you do not rise to the level of your dreams, you fall to the level of your daily habits. So do not aim for perfection, aim for consistency. Show up. Repeat. Practice daily. And day by day, your mind will grow sharper, stronger, and more powerful than you ever believed possible. And with that, your journey into deep, unstoppable focus truly begins. If you've reached this point, it means something powerful. You didn't quit, you didn't skim, you stayed, learned, and grew. So if this gave you clarity, direction, or even one insight that you'll carry forward, support the journey, subscribe, turn on the bell, and share this message with someone who needs it. This channel isn't just about learning, it's about awakening your inner power, one lesson at a time. And trust me, we're only getting started. I'll see you in the next one.